Hey YouTube and IGTV, I am back with another weekly update. Cleo is back there just rolling around in the dry grass ready to make my house dirty, so that's been a fun occurrence. We are overseeding right now because in Arizona you have to do that with your grass. So as soon as the nighttime temperatures get below 80, I think it is, you basically have to scalp all your grass down, overseed so that the winter grass can grow. So that's what we are doing, and Cleo is effectively ruining that. But anyway, I'm here to update you on what's going on in the Phoenix housing market this week as compared to last week. And so one thing I want to start with is talking about unemployment. Our unemployment numbers had a slight uptick, unfortunately. It was still very small, but we're at about 6.7% unemployment. The US is sitting around 7.9, so we are in better shape than them, which is great, the overall US, but still, dealing with that here for sure. But our new claims have been down, so that is good news that there hasn't been as many new claims coming about. In terms of forbearance, I think I mentioned this last week and the same continues. We've seen an 18% drop in forbearance, and that's nationwide. So that's good news. And then also, in addition to that, we fell below 3 million for the first time since April. So that's all good news that we are headed in the right direction as far as those things go. Now, talking about Phoenix, our market index, which is what I reference every week, and this is provided to me by the Cromford report that analyzes the MLS data here in Phoenix. We're sitting at 353.9, so that is up from last week once again and has been rising for quite a while now. As a reminder, any reading between 90 and 110 is technically normal or a balanced market. Anything above 110 is where it becomes a seller's market. Anything below 90 is a buyer's market. So again, 353.9, we're in an extreme seller's market. We've been hanging out in the 300s for a while, but we've continued to go up higher and higher, in now to the 353 range, which is a new record. So what's interesting, and I've mentioned this a couple times over the last few weeks, is that for a while, supply has been the issue and we've had very low supply. Right now, we're actually experiencing higher than normal demand, and that's what is creating the pressure in our market. So our demand right now is 30% above normal, and we haven't seen that very often. Most of the time when we're having this type of market, it's because our supply is very low. And don't get me wrong, it's still low, but it's the demand that continues to increase and causing supply and demand to be completely on different sides, which is what is putting the pressure on our market, increasing prices, etc. So it's kind of interesting that that's really the issue because supply has always been previously. We are seeing a major increase in demand in the following cities, and I'm going to read these so I don't forget anything. Goodyear, Buckeye, Peoria, Surprise, Maricopa, Queen Creek, Mesa, Gilbert, Fountain Hills, Scottsdale, and Paradise Valley. So all of those places have above normal demand, which is causing the seller's market in those areas, in addition to some lower supply than we should have. But the demand is really the increasing piece. And then in addition to that, I wanted to mention, so Paradise Valley makes that reading, but it's by 72%. Paradise Valley has 72% higher demand than normal. Again, overall demand is 30% higher than normal throughout Phoenix, and Paradise Valley is sitting at 72% above normal. So that's definitely an outlier. We have also record low interest rates. So interest rates are about 2.8%. And this is, I'm bringing this up because this plays into the overall picture, right? So we have record low interest rates, so that is fueling our demand. That's one of the reasons people want to buy homes right now. And so it's keeping our demand up, but it's also keeping mortgage payments down. So when we have this high demand and not enough supply, as I've spoken about before, it increases our prices. So we're seeing high prices, but we're seeing a motivating factor by low interest rates, which keeps people's payments low. So even though our prices are going up, our affordability is still there, and prices are staying, or our payments are staying low. And meanwhile, all of those motivating factors are actually increasing the prices because we have more people wanting to get into homes. So it's kind of an interesting situation that we have as far as that goes. Just to give you some context, our housing prices have risen 19% from last year, but our monthly payments have not risen since last year. So even though, overall you pay more to get into a home, on a monthly basis, you still have a similar payment as you would have last year, and possibly even cheaper than you would have had 3 or so years ago because interest rates are so much lower. Now, this, of course, only applies if you have a mortgage. If you're paying cash, that's a different story. But as far as your monthly payment goes for a mortgage, it's actually very low to get into right now. And when you look at our rental market, that is increasing the same way our buying market is too. So rental rates are up a huge amount compared to last year. I think it's like $230 a month median, and they're up extremely high. So rental rates are increasing, home prices are increasing, but the difference is your monthly payment with a low mortgage or interest rate when you purchase a home keeps your monthly payment low, where when it's rental payments, that's not the case. So you can actually purchase a home that's about 1,500 square feet and have a monthly payment of roughly $1,712 a month. However, if you were to rent that same exact house, you're going to be paying about $1,878 a month. So it's a little over $100 difference there that you're paying each month if you choose to rent versus buy. And now I know there's other factors related to that, such as saving for your down payment, etc. So it's not as easy as it might sound, but something to consider. And I've mentioned this before, for 2 reasons. One, it's more affordable for you to buy if you're able to do that on a monthly basis, but also if you are thinking about investing, rental rates are going up like crazy. So maybe buying a rental property would be a good idea for you right now if you're able to get a low mortgage and lower interest rate and whatnot. So that's kind of what we're doing in terms of prices, rental rates, and things like that. As far as listings closing over the asking price, we are still sitting at about 35% of listings that have closed this month, closed over the asking price. And the last thing I wanted to mention was trends. So typically Q4 is a good time to be a buyer because many sellers do some price drops during this time because they don't get as much activity because of the holidays, fewer buyers out there as competition, things like that. So we definitely see kind of a little bit of downward trend in Q4, and as a buyer it's more of an advantage for you. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. The trend line that we're looking as far as number of homes going under contract has stayed pretty stable and actually rising, which we don't normally see. So we'll see if that happens. It could go that direction, which would be great. But I do think that if we do go that direction and have a little bit of a softening in Q4, I think the beginning of the year is going to start out really hot. So I would rather be buying in Q4 than buying in Q1. And that's just my opinion. But anyway, those are the updates that I have for this week. I know that was kind of long, but I wanted to give a lot of information and context. I find it really interesting to compare monthly payments and mortgage rates to rental rates and the affordability and things like that, because all we talk about is how high prices are here, and it's true they've increased, but there's other ways to look at it, and on a monthly basis it actually might make a lot more sense for you to buy versus rent. So as always, if you have any questions about this info, give me a call, a text, an email. I'd be happy to hear from you and help you out with your situation, make any suggestions that I can. And otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope this is helpful, and I will be back next week with another update.